Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Rose Smith from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Thanks for joining me for the terrific Taurus January 2022 horoscope. Well, there's a couple of things happening this month. Firstly, your ruler is Venus, and Venus is retrograde up until the 29th of this month. So it's not a great idea at the moment to go out and sign contracts, and also because Mercury is also retrograde from the 14th to the 3rd of February, and you should allow extra time either side of those dates for the shadow period. So we've got two retrograding planets, so it's not a great idea to sign contracts at the moment. Be careful with your money. You know, you might be tempted to overspend, so watch that. The other thing that's happening, I will talk more about this in depth in a few moments, but the other thing that's happening, we have this unusual thing called a black moon. And it's not astrologically significant, but it is kind of interesting, and it's basically when we have two new moons in the same calendar month. Now, this is only for a handful of countries, including the US. These are the countries that are behind in time in comparison to, say, Australia and New Zealand and some of the Pacific Islands. So we actually have our second new moon actually in February, February 1st. So it doesn't apply to Australians or New Zealanders, but for the US people, it's like you get two brand new starts, new beginnings to something, you know, so that's fairly significant. Venus is retrograde in your 9th house of the higher mind. This could also affect study or learning, teaching, or anything that you want to do that sort of broadens your horizons, perhaps travel. And travel would be doubly so with Mercury retrograde. Anyway, we'll come to that in a moment. But firstly, I'll just briefly explain. I like to draw two tarot cards as theme cards for the month for you. I'll have a look at your horoscope in depth when I look at those influences, and then I'll do a psychic channeling at the end, so do stick around for that. Alrighty, let's go to the board now and see what these cards have to say. If you're new, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell right now. Alright, so the first tarot card, perhaps you can think of this as the first half of the month if you want to think in terms of time. And the second card is the second half of the month, perhaps, if you feel like it, or perhaps you just want to take the two cards together. Alrighty, so closing my eyes, I see, can't describe, it's like all these lines, vertical lines, like slats, and reminds me of Venetian blinds or something like that. So I think there might be times when your vision might be obscured. You're not seeing the full picture, perhaps. And with two retrograding planets, of course, there might be some confusion. So just be cautious about making important decisions. You might find that when Venus and Mercury go direct again, that you change your mind because something has changed. The card that comes up is the King of Wands. This is actually a fabulous card. It's full of motivation, full of inspiration, and it's like Spirit is sort of urging you forward in some idea. It has a lot of green for growth and opportunity, development, and then there's red for taking action. Then there's yellow, the solar plexus. That means undertaking some goal-oriented sort of action. We have got the sunflowers here, sort of symbolic of the sun, stability, warmth, comfort, security, insight, awareness. He's opening up his crown chakra. He's got this little crown on his crown chakra. It's got lots of little green buds. So this allows extra spiritual energy to come through that, you know, can really give him some extra insight. He's got his feet on the ground. He's seated on a wooden throne because he's practical and down to earth. And he has his little pet lizard here. It actually looks a bit like a frill-neck lizard, a little bit. I don't know if, I don't think other countries have them. I think they might just be an Australian type of lizard, but they get a big frill. They have this sort of like flap of skin that comes up and opens up like an umbrella. And yeah, sometimes they like to parade around like that. So this is about getting in touch with your instincts, so very important. Okay, so fabulous card. Usually somebody who's mature and quite experienced, and yeah, it brings almost like good luck. It's somebody who's quite conscientious as well, and can be somebody sort of nobility, and a lot of sort of insight regarding spirituality. All right, and let's have a look at the second card now and see what we get. Okay, oh, that one wants to come out, that one underneath there. Alrighty, closing my eyes now. What do I see? There's a woman here holding a baby. This is like maybe a new project or some new thing coming into existence. A new business perhaps, something, a new job, a new relationship. It just means that it needs a lot of taking care of, a lot of time, a lot of attention to get this new baby, you know, to thrive. The card that comes up is the Hermit. Okay, so this is definitely about your spirituality, and it's somebody who spends time alone so that he or she can learn about themselves. Maybe that's your new baby, that you're learning about your spiritual life. You do have a lot happening here in your 9th house, the house of spirituality, and the broader vision of life, the higher mind. Yes, so I'll come to that in a moment. But you'll see here the wolf, that's about teaching. So not only is there time needed for some solitude and self-reflection, but this is so that the insights that you can get, you can help other people in the future if you choose to. So that's a major arcana, so that's fairly significant. All right, so do bear these two cards in mind. What I'm going to do is make this a bit bigger so you can see it better. All right, I'll just move that like that, and that like that. Okay, so it looks like a bit of a dog's breakfast there. There was that much going on. I couldn't fit them all in the spots. Okay, so I mentioned the black moon already for Americans. The other thing to note is there's more than 7 planets up here in the top part of the chart. So this is a month where you're likely to be more extroverted. You're likely to get out into the world more. It's like your personal life isn't so personal because other people find out about what's going on with your personal life. Or perhaps you've got a message and you want to broadcast it to the world in some way. So it's what I call an extrovertive month. Okay, and this actually is not the northern hemisphere. You think because it's at the top of the chart it's the northern hemisphere. It's actually called the southern hemisphere. So more than 7 planets in the southern hemisphere equals a month where you're more public, a month where you get your message out into the world. Mercury retrograde from the 14th of January to the 3rd of February, and about a week either side of those dates, or 10 days perhaps either side of those dates, where the energy is coming on or going off the retrograde. So this could impact you because it could muck up with your muck up your travel plans. It could muck up your technology, or there's miscommunications and misunderstandings. And Mercury is back and forward between your 9th house and your 10th house. Your 9th house, again, this energy of wanting to expand your life, to broaden your horizons, to travel, to learn, to study. Okay, so here's the thing I was talking about, you know, where you spend time on your own, learning and studying. Yeah, and Mercury retrograde could slow that down. And when it goes into your 10th house, it affects your general life direction. It affects your vocation and your reputation, especially online reputation as well. So things could slow down there. All right, let's have a look in depth now. So up until the 10th of January, Saturn conjunct Saturn. And this is a time, and I know a lot of people do it anyway at this time of the year, but it's like there's some self-analysis, which is why it's good to be on your own. Some self-analysis and a major life review. So you look back over the commitments and decisions you made in the past. You might be looking at your place of residence, your career choices, major relationships, including marriages, or, you know, what other important relationships you have. And so you're questioning and wondering about if you made the right decisions, okay? And you're looking at your commitments. So, you know, certainly whenever we do that, we can always go back and find things we wish you'd done differently. The only question really is, did you learn from that, from going down that track? And if you learnt, well, you did good. So don't regret things, you know, they happen in a pattern so that we can learn, and then if we don't like that situation, then we don't have to do it in the future. And so, yeah, the other thing during this time, there might be some pressure because it feels like there's a lot of obligations or commitments, and you might feel that some doors are closing in your life, and that's because, you know, you've done something and now it's time to move on to something else. There's a new cycle, the Saturnian cycle, that begins every 29.5 years. So this time of review and reassessment of your life is actually very important because you'll be making changes and looking at your decisions and your attitudes for the next 29.5 years. Okay, so it is important. Up until the 25th of January, Mercury is in your 10th house here, if you can see it with all this. Yeah, I'll have to be careful with it. The red text is too thick, I think. And so up until the 25th of January, from the 14th to that date, it will be retrograde. And this is where it looks like in the sky, if you stand on Earth and you could see Mercury, it would look like it was going backwards. But of course, planets don't actually go backwards. But you might have been thinking about your career, some strategies, you know, and now it's all sort of going slow. You need to, with a retrograde, you always need to look at the energy in a new way. Try to find unusual or different ways of doing things, okay? It's a good time to communicate with other people, but make sure those communications are clear. And if you have actually spoken conversation, then follow it up in writing. That's really important. The new moon on the 2nd of the month is in your 9th house as well, just here, bringing new beginnings and broadening your life, perhaps through travel, going on a break, even if it's just for a couple of days. Your spirituality or philosophy on life might change for the better as you realise that your life can be so much more than what it's been. Okay, so, you know, that's a big opportunity coming there. The 3rd to the 7th, Venus sextiles Neptune. You're likely to be quite receptive to beauty. You want to be surrounded by harmony and peace. You may feel tender and gentle towards other people, and perhaps you want to be of service to them in some way. So if you can assist somebody, it would actually make you feel really happy. 8th of January to the 11th, Mercury sextiles Chiron. You may feel relief by bringing certain issues out into the open. If you've got any worries or concerns and you can talk to someone you trust, this is a great time for that. During this period, there can be opportunities to heal or stabilise relationships with friends and family members. And you're also likely to have quite a sharp wit at this time and a really good sense of humour. You can talk your way out of complicated situations and get things back on track. So, yeah, a healing of sorts can take place. 8th of January right through to the 11th of January, Mercury sextiles Chiron. And this is a really healing energy, and it's probably going to, you know, occur in your conversations. And this is before Mercury goes retrograde. It's in the shadow period, but it's not full on, that shadow period on from the 8th to the 11th. So there are opportunities to go back over some situation in the past that caused some grief or some difficulty. So that's really useful. So then we have 14th of January to the 17th of January, full moon in your 3rd house here, bringing transformations around your communication. And it's likely that your interactions with others could be quite emotional at this time. And that's okay. So just be aware that you might be feeling more emotional than usual. Subjective assessments and feelings may come up, but they're more to do with the past, but maybe they're being triggered now. 7th to the 25th of January, Saturn sextiles Mars, bringing cooperation and harmony with co-workers. Any group, club, organisational team work is likely to go very well. You're likely to have a good deal of self-discipline and self-control. You can really concentrate and focus now. And you're probably not going to be distracted by unrelated issues. So this is really beneficial because you can really accomplish a lot with other people. 18th of January to the 18th of February, Sun is in your 10th house here. Now, I know I should have put it in there, but there was no space. Sorry, that is the 10th house there, that little slither. It should be in there. There's not much space. And so with the Sun here, it brings a lot of insight and awareness to your career, your reputation, your role in the community, and the contribution that you make to the world. You can make significant gains regarding your ambitions. You're likely to get recognition for your efforts and receive credit for your accomplishments. If you've done your homework, it's an excellent time to ask for promotion or to engage the support of other people in higher authority. And if you do that, follow it up in writing. 22nd of January to the 5th of March, Mars is in the 9th house up here. If you do have any sort of fanatical streak where you get sort of obsessed on a point, it'll probably come to the forefront now. You could be feeling like defending your convictions, but do be aware that other people will be defending their convictions as well. And there's quite a strong desire for action and adventure, which may sort of influence you to travel or undertake enterprises that may be physically or mentally challenging. Of course, you need to watch out that you don't do dangerous things, because Mars gives you a lot of confidence, and you believe in your ability to do something, like go bungee jumping or something. Yes, just watch dangerous situations. 22nd of January to the 25th, Mars trines your ascendant. You're expressing yourself boldly and confidently. You care less about outside approval than usual. You want to be free to act on your own behalf, and you feel like you've got tremendous courage at the moment. Your health and vitality are likely to be better than usual, and you need some physical outlets for your energy now. Take a walk in the morning to take the edge off the Mars energy. That will help you. 21st of January to the 6th of February, Venus conjuncts the Sun. Your personal magnetism is quite strong. You attract appreciation, affection, and attention at the moment. There's also feelings of love, a desire for beauty, an urge to be creative. You may beautify your surroundings and pay attention to your appearance. It's a good time to treat yourself or do something just for fun. 24th of January to the 14th of February, Mercury in your 9th house. So it's moving around there. It's a great time to take a journey, provided that you've double-checked everything, okay? If you are taking a trip, make sure that you leave plenty of time, and especially if there's multiple legs of the trip, okay? Leave a lot of time between each leg. Travel will expose you to new ideas and ways of thinking about the world that will interest you. You could learn something from someone from another culture with vastly different beliefs and experiences than your own. There could be philosophical discussions or studies on your agenda. You're looking at the big picture now rather than mundane circumstances and details of your life. And Remember the dates, it's 14th of January to the 3rd of February for the retrograde when things slow down. 28th of January to the 31st, Mercury conjuncts Pluto. This gives you the ability to really go deep into something. You're not looking for superficial answers. You want to know exactly at a very deep level, and you feel quite impelled to probe until you get to the bottom of some situation. Mysteries, unsolved riddles, and topics that people usually avoid are likely to come up in your thoughts. You could be very insistent about your point of view, so do watch that. Don't be overly insistent. 31st of January for our American listeners, the black moon or the second new moon in your 10th house. Here, this little sliver. And this can bring up new beginnings in your career, your long-range goals, your life direction, your public image, and also like your public reputation. Whatever you do tends to be more open, more public, and more available for the world to see. People see the private or the personal side of you, whether you want them to or not. And then finally, 21st of January to the 6th of February, Venus conjuncts the Sun. This is great because your personal magnetism is very strong. You attract appreciation, affection, and attention. There are feelings of love, a desire for beauty, and the urge to be creative. You beautify your surroundings and you pay particular attention to your appearance. It's a great time to treat yourself and go out and enjoy yourself now. Okay, so that's your horoscope, terrific Taurus. Now I'm just going to close my eyes and see what I can see for you. Okay, for the month of January 2022. Well, I come to this. This comes back to me, and the crown, what I actually see here in spirit is the crown on the head. And so it's like your crown chakra is opening up, a whole lot of new energy coming through. This is something it feels like it's going to revitalize you. If you're feeling jaded, you're feeling unmotivated or tired, you don't feel like doing anything. If you can imagine your crown chakra opening up, it's like a diamond, shining brightly, and it's like it's pulsating and sending light. I can see light going back and forward in a sort of like a spiral kind of shape. So this will enliven you basically. So the other thing, it's like I see somebody taking a ring off and putting it on another person's finger. So a completion, a joining, a coming together of energies and ideas. You could meet somebody special, but I do feel it's more inside of you. It feels like that the pieces are finally starting to come together, the pieces of the puzzle, and you're starting to understand more than what you did before about something very important. Okay, so that's it, everyone. I hope this is useful for you. If you're new, subscribe and be alive and hit that notification bell right now. Thank you so much for listening today, and I wish you a wonderful month and all the best for the new year. Okay, thanks again, and bye for now. Thanks so much for watching. Please visit my website absolutesoulsecrets.com for all things spiritual. Have a lovely day.